It being the third week of the month, we're getting another MattyTheCollector.com shipment, which means the DC Signature Collection Club Infinite Earths for the month of October of 2012. And we previously took a look at Poison Ivy, and now we're taking a look at the oversized figure Elasti-Girl. And here's the mailer box, and we open the mailer box and we get the large box. You get some nice, very nice card art or box art there. We get a larger picture of the same art, as well as the bio. Taking a look at the figure itself, I'm actually very impressed with this figure. Now, the obvious basis for this figure would be the other large female that we've gotten in the line, Giganta. And you can see that pretty much the arms, legs, and torso are the same. You do get a different, or a skirt piece here. And something that surprised me, I thought they would just paint on these boots, but they actually went and sculpted Elasti-Girl's boots, and they came out very nicely. Also, we get newly sculpted hands. I figured they'd just be painted on as well. Unfortunately, we don't get any other details from the suit sculpted. The rest is done sheerly through paint. We do, of course, get a brand new head for Elasti-Girl compared with Giganta. But paint-wise, it's all done pretty well. I do like the red, and the white is a little bit gray than I would have liked to have seen, but that's the trend on these DC figures for some reason. However, it's not as bad as some of the other figures with white in them. I think the red really helps to soften that grayness, I guess you could say. Only one instance where I can see a blemish here on her eye. Underneath her eye is some brown, I think from her eyebrow. It's not that big of a deal. Her face is very nice. I do like the way it's sculpted. Her hair, very nice too. Held back by that headband. It's pretty neat. So for her accessories, she comes with one accessory. She comes with a really shrunken down version of herself, and it's pretty neat. It doesn't really stand all that well, so I think you'll have to find some way of making it stand up, either gluing it to some sort of a base or using that stickum. And just to show you a comparison as to how tiny that is in with the actual figure. And it's quite nice. It has no articulation, but it was a nice little inclusion with the figure. So for articulation, it's pretty much got the standard. The head will go up and down, left and right, a little bit side to side, not really. Arms all the way around, out to the side. Rotate at the bicep, bend at the elbow, rotate at the wrist. She's got torso articulation left and right, not so much forward and back. Let's see. She does have waist articulation, I think, but it is limited by the skirt. Her legs do go forward and back. That's not really limited by the skirt, as it is a pliable plastic material. She rotates at the upper thigh and the lower thigh. She bends at the knee and bends at the ankle, forward and back, and that's it. Now, Elasti-Girl Rita Farr first appears in My Greatest Adventure number 80 in 1963. And in that, she's a former Olympic gold medal swimmer who turned her swimming into a Hollywood career. And during a shoot in Africa, she was exposed to these strange volcanic gases, which triggered her ability to increase or decrease the size of her body parts, and this was uncontrollable at first, and that's what turned her into a recluse. But she eventually does learn how to control it, and masters growing to a large size and shrinking down as well. Now, she's approached by Niles Calder, otherwise known as the Chief, to become a member of the Doom Patrol with these other, quote, freaks of science, who will use the powers and abilities they've gained through different accidents and mishaps for the betterment of mankind. And during her time with the team, she meets the telekinetic Mento, Steve Dayton, and begins a relationship with him. And when they encounter the orphaned Garfield Logan, otherwise known as Beast Boy, they adopt him and form a new sort of family. Quite soon after that, the whole Doom Patrol seemingly sacrifices themselves to save a New England village. Well, it's revealed that several of the Doom Patrollers were revived after their death. She would remain dead for a long time, not being brought back until, I guess, the early 2000s, when John Byrne decided that he would reintroduce the team as a whole. And they were just brought in with no explanation as to what had gone before, how they all survived and got back together, and with really none of the earlier stories being referenced. And this threw a lot of people, and eventually was fixed by explaining it, by being explained as one of the hiccups caused by the Superboy Prime punching reality. And so after Infinite Crisis and 1 year later, there's a slight change in the Doom Patrol lineup, and they kind of explained a bit more about their resurrection in the DC universe. And hers is that having been blown up on this island, Niles Calder basically regrew her from part of her skull. And however, this new version of her was not entirely human. In fact, it was more of a protoplasm, like Plastic Man. And it was also revealed that Calder was for some reason controlling the Doom Patrol members somehow, each in a different way for his own purposes. Well, they eventually broke free of Calder's control, and they didn't really stay too long because the New 52 happened, and they have not shown up yet as a group in the New 52. Now, she's had several appearances in other media. It's a big part of, I guess, a season of Teen Titans when she was voiced by Tara Strong. And in Batman the Brave and the Bold, she was voiced by Olivia d'Abo. And it was basically a truncated version of the whole 60s origin and death of the Doom Patrol. Pretty odd because they do actually die in the episode. Now, she does make an appearance in Young Justice as Rita Farr. As sort of maybe just kind of like an in-joke. The sitcom that Ms. Martian watches and learns about Earth from is called Hello, Megan. And in that, Rita Farr, the actress, plays the mother of the main character, who is played by Marie Logan, the mother of Garfield Logan, or Beast Boy, in this Young Justice universe. So it was a neat little nod to the original character. And there's several other DC characters that were actors in that sitcom. You may be wondering about the name Elasti-Girl. Of course, in The Incredibles, that's the name of Helen Hunt's character. And Pixar did have to receive permission to use the name in The Incredibles. So they did acquiesce and were able to use it in the movie, but couldn't use it on the merchandising. So there you might have noticed that she was called Mrs. Incredible. And I mean, even the name, you could argue that Parr was kind of a nod to her name as well. Farr, Parr, they both have double R's. But it's more likely that Parr was just a play on the name, the word par, meaning on an even basis, meaning that the supers were now even with the rest of the citizens. And also, I'm not sure, but the colors of Elasti-Girl's old suit in the very beginning, when they're on their way to get married, are kind of a nod. They got red and white colors, and she does have a headband, so they're kind of a nod to the DC Elasti-Girl. I think she's still available. She's, being an oversized figure, she is a little bit more expensive. She's I think 30, 35. If you're wanting to complete your Doom Patrol, this gets you, I'd say, about 3/5 of the way there. You get 2 more characters that you really have to have a Doom Patrol, a complete Doom Patrol, and that would be the Chief, Niles Calder, and her husband, Steve Dayton, Mento. Until we get those, I will not consider the Doom Patrol complete. So stay tuned for the next month's DC Club Infinite Earths figures, and until then, I'll see you.